Welcome to Hypno Story Time. This is a new series I'm going to start where I tell you actual real life scenarios of clients that were struggling with a particular area of their life. And we do what I like to call a breakthrough process. It's our signature process of helping people dive into why they're having the blocks and the subconscious resistance. And so, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is a client who had some financial blockages that were holding him back from being successful. And really quick, before I dive into that, one of the reasons I don't put out as many videos like this as I like is because sometimes I'm like, okay, I got to set up my camera, I got to clean up the background and all this other stuff. And I just decided, I'm just going to rip it because this what I'm going to tell you right now can change so many lives if you guys just watch it. So you're going to start seeing more videos like this, whether they get tons of views or not, because at the end of the day, out of everything I could do for you, videos I could create, hypnosis recordings, out of all that, this is going to be the thing that actually helps you the most. So if you want to hear more stories about how you can personally break through like real life situations that I've had with clients, definitely subscribe. So back in January of 2026, so a couple months ago from today, I did a live event here in Las Vegas where we had a couple hundred people there. And in each day, I bring clients up on stage to do what we call a breakthrough. So the breakthrough is something that we take all of our clients through when they go through our certification or they do one-on-one sessions. And it's essentially the series of questions that are designed in a very specific order. And you ask them in a very specific manner to bring to the surface why the person you're working with is stuck with whatever they're working with. And these questions it's almost scientific, the way that they work. It just works every single time we do it with clients. There's always a handful of people that get stuck and, whatever. But so I asked, who wants to do a financial breakthrough? And so I call this gentleman up on stage and I always ask people to tell me a little bit about, what they're experiencing, what are the roadblocks and challenges. So this gentleman previously, a handful of times, started off, family wasn't very successful, just kind of like normal middle-class family. And he started off years ago, built up his success to, which most people would say is very significantly successful, hit a certain threshold, and then came down crashing. And then hit rock bottom, was there for a little while, built himself back up, and then came down crashing. And then one more time, built himself back up and came crashing down. And so if you ever experience these types of patterns, just know it's not bad luck. It's not it's not like some outside thing that you don't have control of. What's actually happening is you have subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, and you have identity. It's essentially an identity problem that when you start to expand outside of what you're normal and you're used to, your subconscious will self-sabotage and bring you all the way back down. So I had this guy up on stage. There's hundreds of people in the crowd, and I start taking him through the breakthrough process. And so what we discovered is that he was very close with his family. He's like a mama's boy like me. He also had a brother. And what he had noticed is that as he started to gain success, his family would kind of throw out these shots, right? Like, oh, you think you're Mr. Big Shot now, you're so-and-so and you're this and that. And so he started to feel as though his family was a little bit envious or jealous of his success. And so because of that, he didn't want to lose his relationship with his family and essentially lose love. So rather than doing what he wanted, what his dreams were, and achieve his goals, he subconsciously self-sabotaged and basically tore everything back down to get back down to their level, the level that he sort of grew up with, so that he wouldn't lose love. And I know this logically doesn't make sense. And some of you are probably watching this and going, oh, that doesn't matter to me. And maybe it doesn't. But for a lot of people, it does. For a lot of people, especially that are really close with their families and they didn't grow up with money, it's a huge identity issue because your family, the people you love the most, are still stuck at maybe not having as much financial success. Doesn't mean they're bad people or they're ill intent. It's just that's where they're at. And so sometimes when we start to exceed or succeed, the people closest to us are the people that typically will kind of start tearing us down the most, because maybe they feel inferior or jealous or envious. And so we will subconsciously self-sabotage, or even before we even get to high levels of success, many people will actually hold back their success and not go after the things they want because they're afraid of the pushback. They're afraid of what their family is going to say. It's almost like if you grew up religious and you one day, maybe, not everybody has this belief and not everybody comes to this conclusion, but many people do. You grew up religious with your family, and you maybe one day don't believe the same things you used to believe. And there's a point where you're like, man, I really don't want to do these things that they are telling me to do, or I don't really believe these things, but you're afraid to actually come out and state that because you don't want to lose your friends, your family, everybody you grew up with, all that kind of stuff. So you'll sort of hold yourself back from being your authentic self and expressing who you truly are by, having this by keeping yourself stuck. So it's the same thing with finances. Also find it with also our health, right? Sometimes we'll self-sabotage our health because we're afraid to lose love, right? If all of our family is overweight and we're the ones that are in shape, they might be jealous and envious, so that we stay out of shape so that we can have love from our loved ones, but then we don't love ourselves, right? So anyways, we release this belief, and this guy cried heavily, which is very common because a lot of this stuff is very, very deep stuff, and it's very, very, it hurts. It hurts to have to go through that cycle of building and crashing, and then also being afraid you're going to lose love. So the reframe, and I'll share this with you guys, and this is where you can really benefit from these kind of teachings, is the reframe was, hey, because a lot of people get stuck and they're like, well, I don't know if I should let this go and I need to hold on to it. At the end of the day, it's like, often we're seeking love from other people because we think that is what's going to make us feel loved. But in the process of doing that, sometimes we all lose ourselves, and we want to appease or please other people because we want to gain their love, thinking that that's going to make us feel whole and fulfilled. And then in the meantime, we actually lose the love for ourselves because we're doing something that's out of alignment. So what's interesting is the very love that we're seeking, that we thought we were going to get by getting people outside of us to love ourselves, is actually the exact love that we lose because we're not doing what's authentic to us and our highest self. So for those of you who may be experiencing that, I challenge you to go within yourself and really see, like, hey, am I sabotaging my success so that I don't outshine my family, or so I don't ruffle any feathers, or so that I don't get excommunicated from the tribe per se, right? And that's where a lot of this comes from. It's like thousands of years ago, if you get excommunicated from the tribe, that meant death. So we will hold ourselves back to stay within the tribe because, like, if we outshine our family, our brother, or whoever, we're getting kicked out of the tribe, we're going to die, right? So start to reframe these beliefs and see what's going on internally so that you can let go of these and truly live your authentic self. So guys, if this story resonated with you, I'm going to encourage you to get access to my free hypnosis training. I have one down in the description. It'll actually start to teach you some of the principles of how to do this for yourself or others. Or if you're somebody who's like, I don't really want to learn hypnosis, however, I could definitely experience a breakthrough of what I just mentioned, there's also going to be a link down in the description for you to book a free assessment with one of my team members. All right, guys, so thank you for watching. I'll be putting out more videos like this. Hit the like button. Also, comment if this resonated with you guys. All right, see you next time.